Welcome to Her Wisdom Collective, a sanctuary for stories, truth, and transformation. I'm Lucy Ibarra. I am your host, and each week I sit down with women and others who are redefining what it means to grow, to heal, to speak up, and to take up space. This is a celebration of the messy, the magical, the bold, and the becoming. Here, no one is too loud, too sensitive, too ambitious, or too much. Because in this collective, your voice is your power, and your wisdom is worth sharing. Welcome to Her Wisdom Collective. I am Lucy Ibarra, your host, and I am so excited for today's podcast episode. I started this podcast, I should say, because I wanted to speak with women who I am aligned with, and not just in certain areas, but in all areas. And today I am blessed enough to have one of those women with me. She is an entrepreneur. She is a mother. She is a wife and business owner who just shows up so beautifully in every aspect of life. And I invited her on the show today so that we can get to know her a little bit and so that some of us might be able to get some inspiration as to how she shows up in life and in every day. So today I welcome my friend Denise Hernandez. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Lucy. Thank you so much for having me. You know, I think I'm very fortunate to be here with you because, you know, I've known you for many years now, and I've always felt the same way, just so aligned, and always, you know, followed you in every journey because I love everything that you do. So thank you for having me here
Yes.
today.
Thank you. Thank you. What you're mentioning, you know, that's one of those things that I'm super grateful for is our journey together, because you were one of the first supporters of my work in 2019 when I started Rising with Grace with Claudia. And you've sponsored our events, you've shown up for us in big ways, and you've really amplified the spaces that we create for women. So thank you for just showing up for the women and for yourself, honestly. We appreciate
of course. Yes, I've loved every bit of it. I've loved. And that's why I get so excited when you had the most recent event that you had. I'm like, yeah, she's starting it again.
She's back.
Because, you know, I can, it all just sits well. It all just resonates so great in my heart that everything that you do is so aligned. It's like, oh my gosh. And exactly, it seems like you do it exactly at a moment that I was needing that. So
Wow.
Definitely. And then to have me here today, I'm like, well, of course I'd love to be on your podcast. Thank you again.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful how things have aligned for just our space, our community. I feel like it's grown so much since we had those first couple of events. And, you know, I was talking to you, obviously, I went to go visit you at your business. And Denise is the owner of various different businesses, and she thrives in all of them. And I'm very blessed to see her every morning at the gym. So I definitely know your commitment to yourself and to your own personal journey, which, you know, how many of us talk about certain things and we talk the talk and we don't walk the walk. And you definitely walk the walk. I'm always grateful to see you walk into the gym and we blow our kisses at each other and we hit the machines. We're still focused. One of the things that we're super aligned with, aside from the other things that we just mentioned, is our families, our children. You're in a different space as I am because you are a boy mom. You are the queen of your castle. It's your husband and your 3 boys. And that's huge to me because I know that you have a certain way that you have to show up for your household, being that you are the support, you are the matriarch, you are showing up for them on a different level. We definitely spoke about the commonalities about our husbands.
Yes.
You know, and how strong they are. You know, I'm so grateful for Mark, and I share this on every platform that I can. And I know that you feel the same way about your husband because of how he shows up for you and on a daily, just the support. Tell me a little bit about your relationship and how you show up for that as he supports you.
Absolutely. So he is my support, like you mentioned. So first, I met my husband when I was very, very young. I was 14 years old when I met my husband. And talk about manifestation, right? He totally manifested our marriage. He met my mom before he met me. He actually worked with my mom. And when he saw a picture of me, he told my mom, usted va a ser mi suegra, which is saying you're going to be my mother-in-law.
Wow.
my mom said, "You're crazy. Get out of here."
Yeah,
So he was 19 years old at the time. He's like, "No, you're going to be my mother-in-law." He started calling my mom suegra from that moment he met her. But my mom was like, "This kid, he's crazy.
Yeah.
So then, long story short, he stopped working there, and destiny had its own, he claimed it, he manifested it, and I met him outside when he was not even working with my mom anymore. And we bumped into each other, and he recognized me, and he said, "Hey, I know your mom." And from there, we just started talking, and we started, going out and then dating, and then we had to hide our relationship for a while because I was so young. And until he didn't want to hide that relationship anymore. My husband is born and raised in Mexico, so he has very traditional values, which I love. I like to say, I used to always say, I'm never going to marry someone like my dad, because my dad was always a Mexican macho man.
Yes.
And I used to see how my mom would always be like, "Oh, no, we have to be home because your dad's going to be home." And we had to be home. When my dad got home from work, everybody had to be home because dinner was going to be served. We sat as a family on a table all together to have dinner. So I always saw how my mom always, took care of my dad, and not in fear, just in respect. Like, that's the man of the house, and I have to take care of the man. And I used to always be like, "Why do we have to be home just because my dad's coming home? Like, we're having so much fun now, my tia. It's like, I don't want to go home yet." And so I always said, "Oh no, I'm never ever going to marry a man like my dad." And my husband, identical to my dad. Like, it seems more when we're all together as a family, it seems more like my husband is my father's son rather than I'm the daughter.
Yeah.
Actually, even more people think that he's the son even over my brothers.
Wow.
Because my husband and my dad were both born and raised in Mexico, so they do have that very macho Mexican manly mentality, where my brothers were born and raised here, so they were grown very differently. So me saying I'm never going to marry someone like my dad, I guess I was just manifesting it and putting it out there that I want someone exactly like my dad. And at first, when we just got married, I got married when I was 19. He asked me to marry him. We started a life together. We actually rented the house right across the street from my parents for a while, which I thought that was super cool, because we would have dinner together every day with my parents, and we still did everything together. And so when we got married, we were saving up to have a big wedding. But when we finally saved up enough, we said, well, do we want to have a big wedding? Because we were renting the home across the street from my parents, or should we buy our home? Let's buy our home. So we bought our first home very young. I was 21 years old, purchased our first home. And I remember being so sad because I was moving away from my parents. And we were still in Rancho. We were like 3 blocks down from my parents' house, but we were not across the street anymore.
Yes. So
at that point, I was a full-time student. So when I got married with my husband, I was working at a law firm in downtown LA, and he said the commute was too much. I was so young. He's like, just go back to school, get your degree. So he's always supported me, like, in doing something. Even though he has that very Mexican macho mentality, he's never held me back. He's never said, you're going to stay home and raise kids.
Right.
He's always wanted me to do something for myself. He's always supported me. So he said, go back to school so you can get a degree and do something. So I said, okay. Went back to school. I got my bachelor's in business management. I started working for the county, for San Bernardino County. So I started as an eligibility worker with San Bernardino County. Raised, now we have my first son, my second son. We're raising my 3 children. And he always had that support as whatever you want to do. He knows me. He knows I'm a very active person. Like, I cannot just be a stay-home mom. But he also knows how important it is for me to be present as a mom. So he says, if this is where you need to be, this is where you need to be, because being a county worker did give me a lot of flexibility. So I always had that support from him. But I always knew that I wanted to do more. So he's always like, whatever you want to do, I got you. He never told me what to do, because he knows I don't like to be told what to do.
Yes.
But he says, whatever you decide to do, he would just hear me out so I can talk it out and decide in my own head and saying it out loud, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I need to be. So being in the county, I scaled my way up from eligibility worker to supervisor to manager to a whole different department, the Performance Education Resource Center. Then I was a facilitator. So it was a 17-year career with San Bernardino County. Now my boys are grown. They're teenagers, And I have this feeling in my heart, like I need to do more. I was not placed in this world to just be a county worker, and I don't say just be a county worker, because I feel like my journey being a county worker, I did help so many families and impacted so many, not just families in the departments that I was working for as an eligibility worker. It's a transitional assistance department. So I'm helping families transition out of, situations that they're in, and also impacting staff as a supervisor, as a manager, because I always said, why are you here? Let's set some goals. You want to move up? Do you want to be a supervisor? Do you want to be a manager? So I would help them succession plan. So I feel that I did impact a lot of families being in the county, but I felt like my time was done there. So I just felt like I need to do more. I told my husband, I said, I'm thinking about starting a business. He said, okay. Like, what kind of business? I said, well, you know how I've been getting my lymphatic massages for the past 15 years? I said, that really intrigues me. That's something that really is calling me. I feel like that's something everybody needs to know, because a lot of people, you talk about a lymphatic massage, or you talk about the lymphatic system, period. A lot of people don't even know what the lymphatic system is. And you know what? The lymphatic system plays such a big role in our health.
Yes.
And people underestimate the power of the lymphatic system. So a lot of people don't even know what it is to begin with. So how can they even take care of it?
Right.
So I said, I think that's what I want to do. I want to learn. I want to study. I want to help educate people in that, and, impact people's health. Because you know what, Lucy? If we don't have our health, we don't have anything.
No, health is the real wealth.
It really is. When they say health is our wealth, it really is, because you can have all the money in the world, the most beautiful family, but if you don't have your health, how are you going to enjoy any of that?
Absolutely.
So I said, it's time for me to move on to my next purpose, to my true calling in life. So I did an online course, because I actually started my business during COVID. And that's what inspired me to do it, because we were working from home, and I said, I'm going to take advantage of this time that we're working from home. I have my kids at home. All my work is getting done for the county, like sometimes maybe not during county time, but it was getting done. Yes. So I took an online course, and I got certified to do lymphatic massages, to do body sculpting, to do lymphatic facials. And I turned my downstairs bedroom into a studio, which I still have.
Yes.
I got to, do a lymphatic in my home studio, which is so sacred to me. That space, my home studio, I will never get rid of that. No matter how many locations I have, I will never get rid of my home studio, because that's my baby. That's where it all started. That's where I go in and reflect, and that's where I go in and meditate. Like, I lay on that bed where I treat my patients and my clients, and just think of where I'm at and where I want to go on a daily.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So I told my husband, hey, I got certified to do lymphatic massages. He's like, what? Where? The world is closed right now. What are you talking about? You got certified to do lymphatic massages. I said, yeah, I found an online course, and I kind of already know about it, because, I've been getting them done for so long. So I kind of already knew what they are, but I needed to have a certification in order for me to start a business.
Right.
So he's like, so I'm thinking about starting a business. From where, Denise? The world is closed. Where are you going to get clients? Oh, at this point, we still had the gym where we work out every morning, where, my beautiful friend Sabrina owns, and we never shut down for COVID. Yeah. You know what we did? We put curtains on the windows, and we would have people come in through the back.
Yes.
We never shut down.
Yeah.
So I said, the world is not shut down for everybody. I know it's very unfortunate that COVID was, a very terrifying time for many people, and I pray healing for them. For me, COVID was a great thing. For me to be home every single day with my kids, and have them at home every single day, and seeing them run around, and, my son doing PE in front of me while I'm trying to facilitate a training or a meeting on Zoom. And one quick funny story, this is off topic, but I'm running a full staff meeting. I have 280 people on Zoom, and I'm running, because at this point I'm managing the Performance Education Resource Center. So I had 280 staff members under me, and I'm running this whole big meeting, and here comes my youngest, which at that point he's probably like 10, and he comes running, he's like, Mom, Freddie smashed my torta and all the beans are coming out. Oh my gosh, everybody on Zoom's trying to cracking up. They're like, oh no, it sounds like you have a situation over there. It's
Like during that whole
all the beans are
season.
coming out of the tortas.
Yes.
So, I have so many great memories of COVID. Let alone be having my kids with me all day, every day. And, working out, we would work out like for hours because, we had all this time. I'd be outside with my kids riding the bikes and just spending so much time together as a family. But then also, that's where Vida Wellness was created. Mm-hmm. And that's when I told my husband, I'm thinking about turning the room into a business. And he's like, all right, babe. I mean, he's just a total like,
yeah.
If you go with the flow, like if that's what you want to do, then go for it. I mean,
yeah, supported
just
you.
very supportive. Always, he supports me, but he's also my balance. Like he's always the one that, okay, so what's the plan and how do you plan on doing this?
Voice of reason.
And exactly, like it's COVID. Like make sure that you have a mask on. And he would always come by and fill up my sanitizing bottles right when people walk in. And he would always be like, exactly what you said, the voice of reason. Well, how are we going to do this? I need you to be careful about it, for your own health. And I want you to be careful about it for the home and also legalities, because we need to protect ourselves. So, but he never stops me. He always lets me just do it, Denise. He just truly, if anybody really believes in me, it's him.
Yeah.
So he's like, here she goes. I mean, she has an idea. Let's see where it takes her.
And that's the best, honestly, that is the best cheerleader that we can have, because I obviously resonate with you so much. We've talked about this, how our husbands, they were brought up in a very traditional Mexican household, right? And they saw certain versions of their fathers and how they grew up. But it's not a bad thing. I think it's what they do with it and how they allow themselves to evolve and how they show up. Because I tell my husband that for me, it's the most attractive thing for me is when he takes the bull by its horns. When he plans a vacation, and I think we talked about this when he's, because we talk a lot about the masculine and the feminine energy. Well, what does it mean for a man to show up in his feminine? And I tell him, it's one of those things where when I don't have to think about things and you just handled it and you planned a dinner reservation or something like that, it takes something off my plate and I feel safe. I feel like the woman. I feel safe. It's not where you're going to like hit your fist on the counter or, because I think sometimes that mentality can be there of what does it mean for me to be in my masculine energy and show up for you that way? That's what I tell him it means for me is just a matter of feeling safe in that space of you're showing up, you're just showing up and taking some responsibility off of my plate for me. So for you, it's very similar, it's very similar to what we both have in our marriages, our relationships, that they allow us to shine. They don't dim our lights.
Not at all.
And that's so beautiful to have because when I mentioned the podcast to Mark, he was just, that very first day that I was coming to record, I will never forget. He said, hey, have a great podcast. I can't wait to hear it. And I see a lot of friends, and I'm sure you have women in your life where I think we stay quiet about it because we don't want to be an intrusion on their relationship. Yes. But you hope that one day they're going to see that maybe what's happening to them isn't what they deserve, and that maybe they are shut down and their light is dimmed by their relationship. So
or
you and I are very blessed.
Because of it. You know? So then also, like, for example, when I started, not only did I start the business from my home, now I'm like doing both. I'm working for the county and doing my business from my home. And when it was time when the world said, okay, that's it, everybody back to work, a year later, a year after COVID, I was supposed to go back to the office. And he saw how down I was about going back to the office. But he saw how upset it was making me that I had to go back to the office. He's like, so what are you going to do about it? With telling me, without telling me, like,
green light.
He didn't want to say like, well, then don't go back to the office, because then he didn't want to be like, if it didn't work out, the responsible one for saying, well, you're the one that told me not to go back to the office.
Smart. Smart.
So he's like, so what are you going to do about it? I said, I just have to put some thought into it because I just can't. So I tried going back to the office. I did go back to the office, and I was so annoyed every day going to work. I was upset because I was going to work because I was not doing what I wanted to do. And that was continue seeing my clients, because by this point, a year later, I had already built a clientele to keep me busy enough the entire day. So now my work was keeping me from doing what I really wanted to be doing. So when I approached my husband and I told him, you know what, I think I want to quit the county job. And he's like, do what your heart's telling you to do. He's like, you know what, Denise, if God forbid me that wellness fails, which I know it won't because I know you. He's like, but if it does, I got us. I got us. He's like, you'll always have a roof over your head. You'll always have food on your plate. The bills will be paid. He's like, I can't promise you all those vacations you like to take, but the necessities will be covered.
Yes.
So that gave me a lot of peace. That gave me well, yeah, he has a point. What's the worst that can happen? I can't take vacations anymore because, my income's not coming in, because, he does provide the necessities. And so that gave me the peace, and that gave me the reassurance of, you know what, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And it was the best decision I could have made. And that I will always be thankful for, because without his support, I know that decision would have been a lot harder for me. Yes. It was still a decision that I think I would have still taken the same route, but having that backbone, that strong support saying, I got us. Like he said, when we just got married and I was 19 years old, I got us. I go to school. He's always had us, he's promised, me and my boys, such a family man. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for the family man that he is and the support that he brings to the home. So I'm and then that's something that we do talk about, of how home bodies that they are. And that's a blessing. Mm-hmm. That really is a blessing, to have a husband that loves to be home with the family.
Yes, and to feel secure with allowing us to do the things that we need to do. I used to take my husband to networking events, and I remember he used to say, I really like to watch you talk to people and work the room. And here I am thinking, this poor guy who is introverted and just, blue collar, doesn't, for him, he loves to see that. And I'm sure for your husband as well, to see us in the limelight. And that's beautiful, because for a lot of men, I think that would be a problem. And I know that is a problem for a lot of men. So it gives us this appreciation for our husbands. But, right now that we touched on that, I wanted to touch on the fact that, like I said, you're the queen of your castle. Let's talk about being a mom to 3 boys. Tell us about their ages. And what I think is super important is what you and I spoke about, as far as the men being able to show their vulnerability and how we as women condition them, right? As a mom, how do you show up for the boys? What is your role in that? What is that relationship like with them? Let's talk a little bit about that.
So, I just love being a boy mom, Lucy. I was meant to be a boy mom. I don't see myself, I don't know. God sent me 3 boys, and I honestly do not see myself any other way. It's just, being a boy mom is so different. It's so chaotic, but so loving at the same time. My boys can be fighting and arguing and bickering at each other 1 second, and just this 1 second later, immediately later, they're just totally bonding or hugging. And I'm always trying to sneak in pictures of them. But my role as a mom, number 1 role, is making sure that they feel loved at all times. I'm very affectionate with my boys, very, very affectionate. Always making sure that they're okay, that they are getting enough love from me, and also respecting boundaries, because I know that sometimes I can be a little too much, a little too much love. I just want to be hugging them and kissing them and squeezing them all the time. And they're all different. I know their levels of love that they can take. Mm. One gets a little more, he'll take it for a few seconds. He's like, okay there, Mom. But I love that they all take it. None of them will ever tell me no. Mm-hmm. None of them. And they know how important it is for me. They know that I can be having the worst day ever. I can be having, such a stressful day. I can be having, my emotions can be all over the place. And all I need is to feel loved by one of them. All I need is to walk in and I said, I need some, they already know. If I walk in and I say, I need some love right now. Like one of them better come and hug me and better hold me, because that immediately just releases all the tension or whatever is, bothering me. Like I just forget of everything instantly. So number one is showing my boys that they have my love and my support, our love and our support, and at all times. But also, I feel like I'm the one that has led my boys onto their entrepreneurial journeys themselves, because all three of my boys are entrepreneurs themselves. Whereas my husband is more traditional. He is the safety. My husband is the foreman for a big commercial construction company, and he's very happy and content where he's at, and that's okay. And that took me a lot to accept myself as an entrepreneur myself. I always wanted my husband to be an entrepreneur too, and I wanted us to be entrepreneurs together. Like my husband is so talented in what he does. He's the foreman for a big company, and every year, the owner is always telling me how grateful they are for my husband, because they have so many projects because of him. Because superintendents will say, "We'll give you this project only if Jose runs it." So knowing that, I'm like, "Jose, this could be your project. This can be our project. Like we can be running this together. I will drop everything and I will run the back end. I said, I'll even learn how to bid. I'll be out there bidding for you." Like I really wanted that for us, but my husband does not have the entrepreneur mindset. And I had to learn to be okay with that, because my husband, what he does a lot for us. He does wake up at 3 a.m. every single day to go to work every single day. And he can be dying. He can be sick. But he never misses a day. And I'm not lacking anything at home. So I had to learn to be okay with that. But I love that my boys did take after my entrepreneurs mindset, and that he does support them just as much as he supports me. I feel because him being raised, born and raised in Mexico, with sometimes not even going days without eating, because, his family, he's one of 10 siblings, and, they barely had anything to eat sometimes. I think he just wants to make sure that we always have something to eat, and that's his security, working a nice job and having a secure paycheck every day. So I am so happy that my boys did take after my entrepreneurial spirit, and that my husband supports them just as much as he supports me in it. So my role there, I said, like, number one is to make sure that they feel loved and in anything that they do. And number two is that they've chose to be entrepreneurs. So I want to say like their momager. I've made a lot of connections. I do a lot of networking myself, and I'm always out there. So I'm always introducing them and putting them places that they're going to be seen. And for example, this weekend, my middle son, so we also have a home essential brokerage, which is Build. So that's my middle son. I joined that business or started that business because my middle son wanted to do it. So he started it at 17 years old, so he couldn't start it on his own because he was a minor. So I had to sign up and sign him up as my agent. So he has an event where he's going to speak at a home buyer seminar. So there's going to be the realtor, the escrow, the loan, and then here's him, my 18-year-old son, speaking with, big business owners already, like talking about home essentials. Whatever they're going to do, I want them to do the best and go as big as they can with it. So at first, JJ, my 21-year-old, the goal was for us to be business partners. When I started Vida Wellness, it's just a spa. It's not a med spa because I'm not a nurse and I can't do injectables. So we do lymphatic massages, we do sculpting, we do massages, we do facials. So we do treatments that don't require a nurse. So I said, JJ, why don't you go to nursing school and we can turn this into a med spa? You can be the injector and we'll be partners. Our business will be, I'm going to go partner up with you, even though I started it, even though you're my son. I'm going to go half and half in you. You're going to help me build it. Young, yeah. It's a young mind. They can scale it to a whole nother level. So he actually did start nursing, and he went to nursing for 1 year, but he's like, Mom, this is not me. This is not my passion. This is not what I want to do. Yeah. He loves hair. He's been doing hair since he was 3 years old. I used to go get my hair washed and blow dried at this was a cosmetology school, only so that he can go and play with the doll heads. So it was like our trick that we had. Like I said, I'm going to go get my hair washed and blow dried so that my son had the opportunity to play with the doll heads while I was getting my hair washed and blow dried, because Albert, that was the name of the school. The owner, he saw my son and he saw how talented he was. He was only 5 years old. He told me, Mom, you have a master stylist in your hands. Just the way that he holds that hair, I'm telling you right now, you have a master stylist in your hand. And like, my son graduated beauty school 2 weeks later. 2 weeks. He graduated beauty school. 2 weeks later, he was in downtown LA doing runway models' hair.
Nice.
So he's taking it to the next level. So now he's been doing hair for not even 2 years yet. He's been doing hair for like a year and a half, and he's going to open his own salon.
That's awesome. That's huge.
Mid this year.
That's huge.
So I'm so proud of him.
Wow.
And then I have my middle son, which is Freddie. He's 18 years old. He just graduated from high school, and he's in Cal Poly Pomona right now. He's just, I don't even know where to start. He tells me he's going to be a millionaire by the time he's 25, and I believe it. He says he's going to have his own house by the time he's 21, and I believe it. Actually, I believe he's going to have it before he's 21, because he's almost there. I give him a number to save, and I said, once you have that number in the bank, I'm going to co-sign for you, and we're going to buy your first house. And he's almost there, and he's only 18 years old. Because why? Because he's been surrounding himself with great mentors, and he's been taking advantage of it. Not only do I put him in front of people that have done it, but he doesn't just speak to them. He asks them. Like, he'll ask him, will you mentor me? And someone that has done it and is there usually is very willing to show a young kid how to do it.
Sure.
So my son, Freddie, he's in Cal Poly right now. He was going for civil engineer, but now he wants to change his major to business, which I said, whatever you guys want to do, but you guys got to do something with it. So he wants to change his major to business because he knows that. He's like, Mom, I don't know yet what type of business, but I just know that I'm a business owner.
That's awesome.
He's like, I'm a business owner. I'm telling you right now. He's like, I'm a business owner right now, and I'm only 18. And he's like, and I'm going to college mainly to get leads for my home essential. That's what I'm going to college for. He's just not going to college because he wants a degree. He's like, I'm going to sell home essentials whether I'm in college or not. But that's really not what I want to sell for the rest of my life. That's just what I'm selling now. And it's what's getting me to where I want to. So he's like he worked with my really good friend that has a really big construction company, and he was mentoring him for a while. So then with him, he's thinking, Mom, I think I want to do what Raul does. He flips homes. He has a very successful construction company, and he was mentoring him to the point where he's actually my 18-year-old son. Not only is he running the home essential business, but he also is getting his contractor's license right now, because he says, Mom, when I get my first home, I don't know yet. I don't know if it's going to be something for me to rent or if it's going to be for us to flip. But, I need to be ready. And also he says, when Papi gets his side jobs, because my husband does get a lot of side hustles, he's like, he's going to be getting paid like a general contractor. He's like, I don't want Papi doing these side jobs anymore for what he's not, he's just for what he deserves. So he's also doing that for my husband, because my husband will get side jobs. He's like, but you're going to be getting paid like a general contractor now, Dad.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's my middle son. He has big goals.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And my 15-year-old is right behind him. So my 15-year-old, he's a freshman at Harupa Hills High School. He plays for the base. My kids have been playing baseball since they were little, since they were T-ball, 3 years old. My Freddie graduated as the captain of the varsity team, so he kind of led the way for Darian. And Darian, he's right now on the JV team, but he gets to practice with the varsity team all the time. So I'm like, just do your best, Darian. But he has his window cleaning business.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So he has 6 contracts right now. He has 2 restaurants. He has a gym. He has a construction office. He has a few homes that he goes and does like on a weekly basis or every other week. And because sometimes he's so tied up with homework and with school, because not only does he play baseball for school, but he's also on a travel team. So he's constantly practicing. So he has 2 little friends that he sends to do this window. So he's already learning. He's like, Mom, he's like, look, I charge them $300 and I give each friend $50. And those friends are so happy because what 13-year-old is making $50 an hour?
Yeah.
So he's like, and I just made $200 for sending my friends.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like,
that's that
go,
leadership,
baby.
that leadership that you've taught him. Wow.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about that aspect of you showing up as a leader as well. All of us have some sort of morning routine. That's one of my favorite questions to ask the women I speak with. What does your morning look like in order to show up as this version of yourself every day?
So my morning, it starts slow for a few minutes, and then it's very chaotic. So my morning routine, it's first thing before I get out of bed, I wake up and I do 2 things at once. So while I'm thanking God for another day, for waking up and another day of blessings, I'm also activating my own lymphatic system. So while I lay there, I'll do just doing a little activation to wake up my lymphatic system to say, hey, okay, we got another day here. I'm going to need you to drain, because our lymphatic system is our biggest detoxification system in our body. And if our lymphatic system is not working properly, then our body's full of toxins. If our body is full of toxins, then we're inflamed. Then you're going to be very, that's when inflammation comes in. That's when diseases stay in your body. That's when you start getting all kinds of side effects. You start feeling sluggish. You start getting headaches. Your immune system's not working properly. So every morning, I wake up my lymphatic system and say, all right, come on, I'm going to need you to start draining with me. But as I'm doing that, I'm thanking God for another day. And that's about the slowest it's going to get. And as soon as I'm out of the bed, it's go, go, go. I train a few clients at 5 a.m. That's where I get to see you every morning at the gym. I train a few clients at the gym. And then right after that, I go and train myself, because that's a must for me. There's non-negotiables in life, and working out for me is one of them. Mm-hmm. That's something that it's a non-negotiable, and that's why I get it done so early in the day. That's why I actually have 5 a.m. clients at the gym for my own accountability, because I used to do personal training as my side hustle while I was working for the county for many, many years. But then when I started to Be That Wellness, I kind of, stepped away from it. But I'm naturally not a morning person. I do not like to wake up early. I struggle to wake up every morning. Even though I've been waking up early for years, and I have to keep myself accountable. And how I do that is by having clients in the morning that have already paid me for my personal training services. So I have to show up. I have to be there. These clients already paid me. I have to be there. So then that's how I'm forced to get up. And once I get up, then, that gets my day going. Because if I would just let my own internal clock wake me up, it would probably be like 8 a.m. 8 a.m., girl, that's already like half the day is gone. Or that's how I feel when I do allow it. Absolutely. I'm like, oh my gosh, I lost already so many hours of the day.
Right.
So by, I that gets me up, train my clients, train myself. I get home, cook my son breakfast, my youngest, which is still in school, take him to school, and then get my day going with Be That Wellness. That's awesome. That's like my daily, but that is definitely one of my non-negotiables is working out, because it does so much for me, not just in the, health aspect, mentally. My people say, you work out. I'm sure you see me in the morning when I'm training my clients. Yes. I'm sure you see that I'm working out with them.
Yes.
I do work out with them because they like to keep up. They ask me to work out with them because they like to keep up with me. So rather than me telling them what to do and just watching them and then counting for them, or they say that when I'm doing it with them, it motivates them to keep going. So I work out with my clients, but then I don't consider that my own workout, because that was for my clients. So then I consider that like my warm up, and then I go do my own workout. In my own workout, I put my earphones on, and it's me versus me. I'm having conversations with myself, as in, what am I going to do this today? What are the things that I have to get done? Like, there's things that need to be done, but there's things that have to get done. So then I start thinking while I'm working out what I'm going to get done. And I'm just, going at it, going hard. And it just makes me feel so much better physically, mentally, emotionally, because as women, we can be, when we get in our own head. And sometimes I'm like, why do I feel sad today? There's no reason for me to feel sad today. Like, why? Let me work it out.
Right.
And you get all those endorphins and then you feel happy.
That's that therapy session for sure. Well, on that note, let's talk a little bit about your projects. When you're birthing your projects, because there's so many. I identify so much with you, like I said, not just on our relationships, on our family. I identify with you in the aspect that it's almost, if you have this idea, el foco se prendió, and it's like, I'm going to pull a trigger. And what do I need to do? X, Y, Z, and I'm going to structure it this way. So we're very much alike in that manner. What do you do when it comes to you nurturing that project? What exercises do you have in place to help you birth that project? And how do you commit to it?
So I always like to write it down. I journal, but my journal, I don't even know if there's a right way or wrong way to journal, because my journaling is all over the place. My journaling is my to-do list, one page. The next page is just a page full of me being so grateful. Another page is just me writing down my emotions. And then a page can be, I just got this idea of what I want to do. So I write it down and I leave it. I'll write down what the project that I want to birth is, but I'll leave it the blank because I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. So I can go back because they'll randomly come to me. Oh, I can talk to this person because this person is kind of aligned with that. So then I'll write it down in that page. So everything goes on that page of whatever thought I'm having. Okay, so I told you how Vida Wellness started out of my room. And that is the actual practice of, me providing the services, the lymphatics, the sculptings, the post-op. Post-op is for people that get plastic surgery and they have to get these lymphatic post-op massages. Very, very important. So then after Vida Wellness was birthed, I was doing, doing the services. I opened my first location, my second location, and then I got this idea. I've always been a facilitator by heart. For the county, I was a facilitator. I've always done personal training. So I've always liked to help others and, facilitate. So I said, how can I? Because that was the only thing I missed about the county. I missed the facilitating part. I missed, I quit the county job as a performance education resource department, which that department, we facilitated trainings countywide in whatever topic that the county needed. So I missed that part. So I said, how can I kind of combine the two passions? So I came up with my own Vida Wellness Master Sculpt Academy. So now not only was I certified to, do the services, I went and I got licensed to certify people to do the services. So now I have Vida Wellness Master Sculpt Academy where I train and certify other individuals to start, and not only start, but also scale their business because they get ongoing coaching and mentoring from me. So that was how that was birthed. That came up to me. I wrote it down and I said, okay, and then I had to start finding out what are the steps for me to get that become reality. Okay, I need to get licensed to certify. Okay, so now what else do I need to do? Am I going to provide the equipment, which my academy comes with everything. It comes with all your equipment. So it comes with your machines, your wood, your bed, everything that you need to start your own business. I had to create my own manual. So I created my own manual. So I started putting down bullet points of what I needed to do to bring this to life. And so that's how that came to life. So it's just writing it down and seeing what are the steps. And then the next project was the Vida Wellness Suites. So Vida Wellness Suites is where I provided, I have suites where I provide shared space for entrepreneurs to provide their services. Because I found that when I was doing the training for my certifications, a lot of people didn't have the space. We're not fortunate enough to have the space in their home. So I said, well, what if I'm able to open up a place where people can rent from me to provide their services, and then not necessarily body sculpting, any services, any beauty or health services. So now I have Vida Wellness Suites that also in the works of Vida Wellness Suites 2 is soon to come, because all my suites are taken in the Rancho location, and I still have many people that want to join the team because we offer so much more. It's not just where you come and rent suites from us. We actually work together and we help each other actually, get clientele. We host a lot of events together. We mastermind together. And even though I have 4 hairstylists or I have another masseuse, there's many of us doing the same services, but it doesn't mean that we can't help each other out. We're not in competition. There's so much to go around for all of us. And that's the environment the culture that I built for Vida Wellness Suites. Not because we're doing the same thing. We're not a competition. We're here to help each other out. So we'll build each other up. And I host a lot of events that people are asking. I have a waiting list of people wanting to rent from my suite. So I said, well, you know what? I don't want people to wait. Let's open up another one. Provide more space for these people.
Right.
So it's just writing it down and then writing steps of how I'm going to do this and what I need to do and checking up and putting time limits, because I said by this time I want to have this one done. Okay, if I need to get a license, how long does that take me? Okay, that says it's like a 3-month process. I'm going to give myself 4, but it has to be done.
Right.
Because, if you have these goals, but you're not doing anything about it, then they're just going to be goals forever.
Yes, it's cultivating that environment for yourself to succeed, because you do have a game plan, because so many people step into spaces blindly and they don't follow through with what they're committing to. So I love that. And it resonates with me. So just to close out, I do want to ask you, when it comes to how you show up in life, how you show up for other women, we've talked about how important it is to be in spaces where it's healthy conversations about other women and uplifting each other. What piece of advice would you give to women out there who are trying to create something, who have maybe something heavy on their heart that they are wanting to birth it and are not finding the way to do it? What would you say, and what advice would you give them?
So I would say stick to it. Don't give up. Nothing is easy. Nothing's going to be handed to you. It's just like I tell my students too, you're going to take this as far as you want to take it. You're going to take this as far as hard as you're willing to work for it. And so really, like I said, write things down and what it takes and seek guidance. There's so much guidance out there. There's so much mentorship, and there's so many people that are willing to help, and not being afraid to ask and putting yourself in places where, whatever avenue you're trying to take, surround yourself with people that have already done it and ask for help and ask for mentorship. And like I said earlier, most people that have made it are very willing to share how they've done it. It's so hard to want to do something on your own. It's so hard to try to birth and build something on your own than doing it with someone that has done it, or someone that wants to do it and has that same passion as you, and partner up. Because nothing, you don't have to do anything alone. There's so many of us out there with big dreams that it's just joining forces. Mm-hmm. So that's what my biggest advice is, just finding the right people, surrounding yourself with the right people, because also there's a lot of very negative-minded people out there that if you're already, having your own limiting beliefs, and it just takes that one person to tell you, that's not going to happen. You think you're going to do that? If you're already having your own limiting beliefs, and if you're here someone, especially if it's someone very important and dear to you, tell you that, it's going to bring you so down that it may even change your mind on wanting to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So find the others. It's definitely about finding the others. And when we say that, it is those people that are aligned with you, that are going to support you, they're going to cheer you on. And unfortunately, there is that audience sometimes, the people that we feel sometimes are going to cheer us on and be the base support system, sometimes don't show up that way for us. So it is really important, like Denise is saying, to find those folks that are going to be part of your tribe, that are going to help you grow, and are going to be loud about all of your projects so that you can get those clients and grow that business that you're looking to thrive in. So Denise, thank you so much for joining me today. You are a blessing. I love seeing your big smile when we walk into the gym with our chongo on our head, ready to lift some weights. But you are one of my others. You are definitely part of those women that help me shine in my space. I hope I do the same for you. And I'm just so in gratitude that you were able to be here with me today and share a little with us.
Absolutely, Lucy. Thank you so much again for having me. And it's such an honor to share this space with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And to everybody that joined us today, thank you so much. Thank you for your continued support. and find the others. Join us next time.
Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and share. Stay tuned for future Her Wisdom Collective episodes and for future Her Wisdom Collective events. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support and look forward to the next one.